Joined by Mini Mega once again, and that was a very fun game number one. And I gotta wonder how Don's gonna really react to that, because it's not like you ban a hero like Cersei by any means initially, which they don't.
No.
Cthulhu Fawn Ophelia pairs like Kraken, but
to me it was just honestly the strategy from Dawn was just a little bit strange. Like they had like sort of a strong team fight, but then they had some sort of parasite as well. And if like you kind of weaken your sort of team fight, then you've got to sort of make it up in other areas of the game, and they just kind of didn't. But yeah, I don't think it was any one hero from Rexos that had a massive impact, but more just obviously the great strategy from Rexos, and they executed it perfectly. Whereas Dawn was a little bit more shaky in that respect. But we'll have to see what they're going to sort of change up here. They do actually first pick the Swiftblade, and normally Swiftblade is automatic first ban, but was it? I think they banned the Kraken instead. So as a result, Swiftblade does get through on the draft.
that he does, and that's going to be one of those where you got to look back at it. Will that bite them in the ass or not? I mean, Kraken is a fine band, no doubt. There's no question in that.
That's true.
It's just like they gave up Swiftblade though, so it's kind of a scale right there. Now I will say they snap picked the Tempest, so clearly they had in mind that they'll get the Tempest at least. No, he is obviously a little bit better against a hero like Swiftblade in a sense, can still lock him down even while he's spinning and whatnot. So, yep.
There's no other jungler either on the board. Like Parasite and Ophelia are both banned out, so the only other jungler that can really be useful is we did see like Legionnaire in last series, obviously with Zinc playing.
Well, I mean, Keeper's obviously there too. But.
Yeah, that's true, but. I don't know. I really, my mind always changes about like whether Keeper jungle can work or not. Like it is very similar to sort of Tempest because can have mainly an impact only at level 6, but even Tempest can have like somewhat of an impact even before level 6, obviously with the Glacial Blast. But Keeper is sole level 6. Without that, he can't do anything. But I think he can definitely work. But I just want to see Legionnaire, damn it, man. Like
yeah, no, I'm not. I'm with you there. It's something like a Legionnaire. I know Solstice could be a possible option too. He has his jungle presence, so.
We haven't seen Solstice in ages.
Yeah, we haven't.
After that nerf to his Q, like, the range on it is really...
Yeah, no, he never really was a staple hero by any means of the competitive scene. We saw him picked up every now and then. He's kind of dabbled here and there. But as far as jungler options go, it just seems like he got the core. You know, Parasite, Ophelia, Tempest, and then the Keeper thrown in there. So, Rhapsody going to be the pickup, though, for our Legion side. Now, they could have gone Empath if they really wanted to, but they choose to go the Rhapsody. You know, it's one of those things, you know, Rhapsody, Swiftblade, Empath, Swiftblade. It's kind of both has their
very similar
powerfulness.
Yeah, normally we used to see Empath Swiftblade all the time because, you know, tri-lanes were back in sort of the early sort of meta, like, you know, back in Carnage of Caldivar and sort of Cycle 1 and Cycle 2, for example, but that tri-lane meta has sort of gone because people realise, actually, wait, junglers are still really strong, so just screwed the tri-lanes over, and, I mean, for Rexos, they have to ban this Keeper, like, you know, there's no jungler here from Dawn, so either they've got to pick an unusual jungler or go, you know, a dual support lineup, which, in that respect, I think is automatically weakened from the start, but obviously they can still win with it, but obviously Rexos want to take as big of an advantage as possible. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if honestly Rexos was even thinking of possibly going Keeper themselves right there. And
they're Hellborn. They're Hellborn. They can't risk it. Like, no. I guess they could have picked it there, but like if they pick the Keeper of the Forest there, then there's obviously it's a lot more easier to sort of counter it in that respect because it's an early Keeper pickup. And if they want to wait till the sort of second picking phase, then most likely Dawn would pick it up themselves. So it's probably just a lot more safer just to pick up like a support hero.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what that ends up being. Of course, Doctor, Repulsor, and Malakin so far coming out here as far as these bans are actually concerned. Pretty carry heavy. Again, you liking to address the probust is what it comes down to. Again, with that Swiftblade pickup, I'm actually also kind of curious now, too, if they're going to run that with probust. Is he going to be the carry Swiftblade, or are they going to run more of a suicide Swiftblade? Obviously, you know, KZU of Sync Esports is famous for doing that and doing it very, very well. So they got options here in that sense too. I mean, when it comes to that, but I will say, if you usually run like a Suicide Swiftblade, you wouldn't then go the hard carry short lane. Maybe more something like a Wretched Hag instead. So, and that again just doesn't seem like Probo's style specifically. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing it, and they got another Suicide option, perhaps even the Magnus that they already have here, or another one. But Wretched Hag and a Pharaoh are how things are going to follow here. When it comes to these bands. And there's the Puppet Master band. So, again, a very carry-heavy bands coming out between these two guys.
Break it. You know, I was talking for the last 10 minutes with my mic on mute.
Oh,
and I was wondering, like... and I was like, why does he keep interrupting me?
So rude.
And then
So
I was like,
rude.
oh, I've got it on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I was saying that I think Suicide Swiftblade is always superior than I think the short laning carry from Swiftblade because like you can really kind of abuse like the Blade Frenzy early levels, whereas if you're a carry Swiftblade, then you're going to be wanting sort of last hit creeps, time and time again, and in that case you can't really take as much of an effectiveness of like an early level of Blade Frenzy, for example. And also I was like Pyromancer again, man, like we've seen this hero really come back into sort of the sort of flavor, honestly, from meta. Like before, we used to never see it. It was always like Empath, Rhapsody, or like Glacius. But now Pyromancer seem a lot more love.
Yeah, well, and he's also one of those where it's like, why did he? I mean, when it comes to his powerful, we've talked about that before. When it comes to what he can bring to the table, his ultimates, hell, having a support that can burst for 450 magic damage at level 6 seems like it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I think people are kind of picking up on that once again, as far as getting those kills to make that happen. Yeah, and Sandy played on Pyromancer a couple times yesterday, and he's the new captain, obviously, for Sync as far as our drafter goes. So maybe that has something to do with it, too. But, yeah, we definitely are seeing a bit of it more.
Keep it still on the board. Like, I'm really surprised about that.
They final banned Empath. I was actually noticing that. So they final banned the Empath to take away the dual support option.
It makes... there we go. Like that's so... To me, that's completely obvious that they're going to pick up the Keep of the Forest there. And, okay, maybe they're maybe a little bit afraid that it's going to be a tri-lane. But if they do a tri-lane, then you just pick up maybe like a Bubbles and put it in the short lane while you rotate your Tempest in the enemy jungle. Keep, Dawn having a tri-lane would be completely inefficient going against like a Suicide Bubble as well. The enemy team or Rex will stop jungling a Tempest, and to me, and Keep obviously is a massive counter to Tempest as well. So that is a complete foresight there coming up from Serena.
Yeah,
leaving the Keeper unbanned. Like, I mean, to me, have to.
Well, Labyrinth was thinking about it though too. At the same time, it might have been almost one of those like, wait, they left it open. What is the deal here? And they was like thinking about it. It's like, wait, no, it just makes too much sense. We're going to go with it in the end. So, yeah, we'll see again if that's one of the... we already talked about that with the Swiftblade. Not banning Swiftblade initially is kind of one of those... I mean, Kraken's fine, but you live with him Swiftblade, and he's known as the press R hero and win games. So, we'll see if that possibly happens here or not. But Rexstar is at the same time, in the sense they have a game to give. Ooh, Electrician coming out. Interesting. Now, we've talked about, what Silhouette happens, and Electrician's actually very powerful against her. I will say he's also pretty good against a hero like Keeper of the Forest. He can purge out, of course, the root. But does he make sense to you here?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's just for a complete counter of Keep of the Forest, but even in that sense, like, Keep of the Forest mainly picks up there because they need a jungler, and second of all, they need some kind of counter to Tempest. So then, for Rexos being inside of the root isn't the biggest of deals. Like, as long as they stop the Tempest ultimate, and as long as they have the jungle, it doesn't even matter if they're in the root or not. So I don't think Electrician is the biggest impact here. Obviously, he has great early rotations and early roaming, and unless he can really utilize that, then I don't think he's going to have the biggest of impact. But a Prisoner pick up here as well. So is that going to be a Suicide Magnus then? And then
I assume so, yeah.
And then carry Proboss, carry Swiftblade. But yeah, I don't think Electrician is going to have that much of an impact early enough for a game to really warrant the pickup here, because now look, every single one of those heroes is kind of countered by like either Swiftblade himself or maybe Shrunken Heads from Prisoner or Magnus, and when that comes out, like Electrician is going to be like, yeah, why do we pick up an Electrician? Yeah, it sort of countered the Keep of the Forest route, but at the end of the day, the route is only there to stop the Tempest on it. But it does obviously give some good lockdown as well earlier on in the game, and Soul Sitter is there sort of to have an impact in the later stage of the game. So I think it can work. I think there's other times where Electrician's the better pickup, for example, when they're going against the Silhouette. But nonetheless, we do see it here, and I think it will have an impact, but I don't think as much as maybe like another Suicide could have had, maybe like even like a Drunken Master or some other kind of Suicide hero.
Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of Electrician. I really have been. I've even brought that up in the past, why we didn't see him all too often going up against so many Keeper of the Forest. So I will say I'm glad if that seems like the purpose here, that to see it, because again, I brought that up in the past, but we'll see now how it actually works for him. He does go boots first here right away. He's going to be running right towards the bottom lane. I don't know if he plans on selling them or not at this point, but he is right now running towards, so I'll keep an eye on that. But it is going to be a Suicide Electrician, as you pointed out too. So that in itself is also, it's not rare by any means. Okay, he does sell the boots, by the way, but he doesn't necessarily have an escape, although he is pretty beefy at the same time. So good luck actually getting a kill on him with an electric shield and even an energy absorption of his. Can be frustrating to deal with. So And yeah, being a suicide as well, we'll see. I'm actually curious if he levels up the static grip earlier or not. I would think probably not. We'll save that for eventually when he starts to roam around possibly and set up kills. But
yeah, I mean, the hero's awesome, but like against Swiftblade, really isn't going to do too much. And obviously, like it's only against the keeper that it's going to have much of an impact. And I sort of obviously talked about it a lot, but I don't know, man. I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't think it can't warrant enough of a pick.
Well, I got to think he's going for staff as well first. I mean, because again, that's what really makes the idea of the hero pretty powerful against something like a Keeper of the Forest, because staff, of course, makes it affect 2 other targets. So the idea that you're purging not only yourself, but 2 others. Or is that how it works, right? Yeah, shock chains to 2 additional. Right? Oh, so really just 2 additional, yeah. So basically 3 targets in total.
So 3, yeah.
Is what it ultimately comes down to. So, I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but that's just almost like, it's like, why pick up Electrician then if you're not going to, if that's kind of the purpose of the hero against the Keeper here. So, I mean, that in itself is also kind of a little, is that the best option? But
yeah, I mean, the only issue is, like, where's the damage going to be? Like, obviously, you've got Pebbles and Pyromancer and Soul Stealer, but once, maybe Prisoner goes a strong ahead and Magnus goes a strong ahead, and obviously Swiftblade from the Blade Frenzy, like, there's going to be no kind of damage in that respect. And I think Drunken could have maybe been a bit of a better pickup, because obviously it does counter Swiftblade a little bit because it goes through the Blade Frenzy, for example. But I guess we'll have to say, I just think when it comes into team fights, like the Protective Melody and obviously the Nature's Vow from Keeper are just going to be too much to really handle in terms of sort of sustainability, and the damage for Rex is just not going to be there. But we'll have to see. At the end of the day.
This middle matchup, they're going to be fun. There we go. Big hook from Piston. I was going to say, expect some good action early on. We see it right away. Now, Pebbles is going to be fine, but that's exactly the potential right there. I mean, when level 2 hits especially, that could possibly be a dead Pebbles. So they need to be careful. At the same time, Pebbles and Pyromancer also have some good fighting power themselves. So really, it's going to be on Prisoner, whether or not he's going to be able to land these hooks of his. And being, a lot of physical presence, too, against a hero like Pebbles is obviously beneficial. So, yeah, I'm going to keep my camera on the middle lane for the most part, because I expect action to happen there. As I say that, Magnus actually applying a lot of pressure to Soul Steal at the top lane, going to force him to use a health potion before he falls back. Yellow Rexer, by the way, he is leveling up Volcanic Touch, so it is worth noting here. So last game, of course, that was not the case, although it was played by, I believe, the Labyrinth last game. So, anyway, but Soul Steal is going to be fine, and I expect big Arlong up there to have a good time, of course, ultimately. And that's Soul Stealer of his. But yeah, middle lane, I mean, would you give it either way here as far as the potential? Definitely the Prisoner,
I think Prisoner. Because, like, if he was level 2 when that hook happens, I'm pretty sure Pebbles dies there. And I think both of them got stunned out from the Pyromancer. So if one of them doesn't get stunned, then I think that might be a kill on Pebbles as well. I mean, the burst potential of Pebbles and Pyromancer is not to be understated, but I don't think they're going to be able to burst down Prisoner. And unless Rhapsody gets out of position, I don't see this middle lane from Rexos actually going to get any kills. Whereas, Dawn, they always have the potential to sort of land a hook, even Pyromancer or Pebbles, and land the kill. So it depends on how good is the positioning from Rhapsody. And that's about it really, because and also how good are the hooks are coming out from Labyrinth. But if both those are on point, definitely the Prisoner Rhapsody takes this lane from me.
Yeah. Now, again, I will say, Electrician, when it comes to a 1v1, especially against a melee hero, he's one of the better ones up there. As the hook land, yeah, they do catch Pyromancer. Yeah, the kill will happen. So
one hook, one kill practically, and that's what I mean. Like I said before, stated it time and time again, you simply can't dual lane against a Prisoner because it's just too strong. Like you got to run a solo in that lane, and Rexar's kind of not sort of accepting or acknowledging the power of Prisoner.
Yep.
Hook missed
that. Hey, right there. So well played by Labyrinth, landed the hook initially to get the job done. Look at this, putting it in the face of Pebbles. Showing that he's not scared. But, yeah, so going back to you, Electrician, you see here, look at the harassment he's putting out on Swiftblade. Being played by Probusk. Again, earlier on, I think you've got to give the favor to Electrician.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we're definitely seeing that here. He's, 18-2 right now compared to a 19-1 Swiftblade. So it's really actually very, very close. But for a suicide long lane, he's definitely holding his own here.
Oh, yeah, and it's a little bit surprising how well Probusk is actually doing, because obviously Electrician melee is absolutely dominating, but he will obviously start to taper off eventually, but that's a long way away until then. But yeah, he should have a good time in this lane, and it's kind of surprising how well Probusk is kind of doing that.
I didn't pay attention to 100%, but I believe he had a good amount of pooled regen, I would think, and that possibly had something to do with it. And he also seemed to get the early mana battery, especially against Electrician. that's going to be very powerful for him as well. So yeah, as the levels add up, you would expect that to even increase. But yeah, it's still no doubt. I mean, definitely an impressive start here for Probusk. Bottom lane, is Electrician in trouble? No, I saw Rhapsody coming down, but she's going back mid here. Picking up the double damage rune, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Electrician just absolutely dominates any kind of melees though, because like obviously it's not only is it the damage, but it's the mana taken away as well. Like Swiftblade can only sort of spin once now, and if he uses that spin, then it can be easy rotations from maybe like an invisible or hasted pyro, for example. So definitely something to be noted.
Yeah. So you can put pressure at the tower basically right here. Has those boots and taking advantage of it. He has 1,000 gold saved up as well. Again, I'm really curious what DeverPro goes here. As far as his build, will we see, well, of course, probably upgraded boots first, but how will they go from there? You know, Ring of Sorcery considered to be a pretty powerful item on him. Icon of the Goddess usually is considered powerful, but like I was saying, I mean, will he value that over a Staff of the Master first?
I don't think so, because I think Icon is only strong if you can actually get a lot of kills on the board, and I mean, yeah, they're going to get kills, but I don't think they're going to be sort of roaming and ganking. But he should definitely pick up the armor boots, and I think the Ring of Sorcery as well, because I think those two are sort of core on him, and then after that, maybe he can sort of decide to go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, particularly on Electrician, like armor boots is just so strong. So I mean, well, what did he buy? Did he buy armor boots?
I don't know. It's something on the courier.
He must have bought
looks
something.
like yes, armor boots. Yep.
All right, yeah. So armor boots is definitely the right call to make here.
What is that?
Yeah. Nice win.
Thanks, Quincy. Good stat. Was that your stat from earlier or something? I know I hate chat sometimes. But yeah, I mean, you played a Greaves, especially in this game. I mean, you got a lot of physical presence. You got Swiftblade. You got Prisoner. You got a lot of physical damage threat coming out. So played a Greaves makes even more sense because of that. But like I said, in general, really just considered a strong item on him anyway. So expecting to see that, and there you go. Finished up bottom rune, 6-minute rune. Good rune control coming out here from Rexars. We're going to head towards bottom, and they'll be correct. They get the hits, but at the top rune in the meantime, Tempest, he's got an ultimate, though. They need to be careful not to collapse right here. Prisoners also coming in. Soulstealer joining the fight, but actually in a bad spot. Tempest, he ulted, yes he did. He canceled it immediately, so that's on cooldown now. Can he actually survive is the question. Soulstealer does go down. Pebbles with the haste rune running in. He's going for the combo. Beautiful combo from Blizzard right there. He will get stunned, though, by the Prism Break that was popped just before, but the chase continues. The auto attack damage needs one more. The haste rune doing some work. Tempest actually does live after all of that, and I gotta give him a little bit. I mean, the fact that he actually canceled the ultimate, knowing that that's, you know, it sucks, but if he didn't, that could have actually been a death onto him, and now he's coming back in on a Rhapsody. Oh, the auto attack. It won't be enough, and you go big right here. Should end up falling? Oh my god, just going for an OP, man. But yes, he does go down as Pebbles comes in to clean him up, so jeez.
Haste for an MVP.
Oh yeah, if that was not a haste, yeah.
Yeah, like he ran all the way from the bottom row to the top row and got 3 kills in just a matter of minutes, honestly. And this is why, you know, rune control is just so important because of what you can actually do with them. And it's only 7 minutes in, but it gives him a sort of serial killer. And I mean, he definitely needed though because he got actually a very, very low CS, which is kind of to be expected though because, like I said before, the Prisoner dual lane is just too strong. And without those 3 kills, he would be definitely around 200 GPM. So at least on his way now for his portal key, and Pebbles isn't the strongest dual laner either, and so getting that portal key against a dual laner is very, very important and quite impressive actually at the same time.
There you go. There you go. Quincy finally looking at the stats to come out there, so it has to do with Electrician, but wasn't a short lane though. That was the only game that we saw Electrician this cycle, but again, that was the silhouette matchup. You go back to that, and that was why it was picked up was to kind of counter the silhouette, and it made sense, you know, with the illusion. So a little bit different style here, but also, you know, there is value to it.
They need a lane ward mid as well, by the way, because like if Prisoner can get like a hook from the high ground, Pebbles is going to keep on dying. So yeah, well, he hasn't died yet, but I mean they need lane vision mid, particularly on the high ground, because then it'll just make Prisoner hooking a lot harder. So something to be noted.
Top lane, Soulstealer, I mean, obviously he had that death, but he's still farming about 350 gold per minute despite going down right there. He did pick up a couple of assists in the process. They're going to be pushing this top lane, it looks like. Yeah, he nukes down the creep wave. Electrician and Tempest are both up here. Of course, Tempest doesn't have his Elemental Void, but still a threat with that stun of his, and Magnus needs to be careful as a result. So this should definitely be a dead tower. I mean, Magnus, as soon as he realizes the pressure coming in, yeah, he's going to start falling off, realizing, yeah, it's a lost effort, just let it go. Because any fight you put up could very likely result in your death, and the same result anyway. So down goes the tower, and good push, decision even coming out from Rexers. They're going to keep it going. And now comes in the question, how does Dawn respond here? They are counter-pushing currently the bottom lane, but they're not going to get that tower quickly enough, I don't think. Yeah, they need to make a decision right here what they want to do, and if it's giving up the secondary top, I don't know if that's your best decision, honestly. And
they got TPs on everyone.
Okay, they do.
Yeah.
Magnus? Oh, I thought he was channeling right there. There we go. There's
now.
the channel. There's the channel. Soul Stealer is going to be jumped right off the bat. He's dropping quickly. Purge comes out from Electrician, trying to give him some run. He wants to kill the tower, though. They get the tower as a result. The Hell Cannon MVP right there. Tempest also goes down. So, I mean, I don't know. They got a lot of TPs. They did get the tower kill. Still, obviously, great for Dawn getting those kills, but at least they got the tower kill.
Yeah, they got the tower kill, but I mean, they lost their Soul Stealer and their Tempest, two of probably the most important heroes outside of maybe Pebbles, for example. And obviously, it allows not only like the tier 1 tower and the tier 2 tower is obviously good for Rexos, but it's kind of bad because I'm pretty sure the Rexos now is going to sort of static farm this lane, give him a lane to farm. He doesn't even have boots yet, so him picking up boots is going to be a big impact. And now actually Dawn are pushing onto the tier 1 mid, so. Yeah, definitely wasn't worth the sort of overextension there from Dawn, and definitely the price to pay. But they are going to try and defend in the tier 1, but I don't know if they can really start this team fight without Dawn just backing off.
I mean, they got the Elemental Void, so yeah, they definitely want to. You see a good job by Keeper there, sitting in the tree dog, kind of scouting things out. Oh, there's a stun on the Switchblade actually, but the protect him out. He didn't chuck him back. If he chucked him back to his teammates, they could have possibly done something, but he also didn't want to spin on top. Tempest, he gets stunned. He was in the front lines. He ends up going down right there. Root comes out. Pyromancer also going to be picked up. Pretty sloppy initiation from Rexars, but at the same time, great response from Dawn. So, that's kind of the give and take. Prisoner, he's going balls to the wall, man. He wants to take out another hero, but yeah, that was a little risky to end it off there. But yeah, I think it's, again, both a little bit of sloppiness, but at the same time, well responded by Dawn right there as far as the fight, and I think that should be the end. Yep. Gonna start falling back here.
Yeah, I mean, Dawn don't even need to take the tower, actually, to be honest. As long as they get like a couple of kills when they rotate over, it's definitely worthwhile in terms of golden experience. So, it's good trade from them in that respect. And now Magnus has his boots and his mana battery. And look, this is what I mean. Like, he's just going to keep this lane here. So their 2-2 tower was definitely not worth it. And it's just such a good play count from Yellow Rexar, keeping the lane static, because there's no way Rexars can get this lane back unless if they like triple stack this pool camp in the top lane and pull it all the way back. And I mean, even that's going to take a long while. So definitely not worth the tower top.
Bottom lane, Swiftblade trying to be sneaky right here, set something up possibly. No, he's just even went for the creep kill, but got the knight in front of him with the hatchet. So Denver Pro again playing the Electrician. He now has he had more gold. He has about 1,000 gold saved up here. So still not exactly sure where he's going to ultimately go, but getting the build up items. They finished the Plate of Greaves, the Mystic Vestment of his. He's only farmed about 275 gold per minute, so has gone down a little bit as this game has kind of picked up. He's actually 0-0-0, the only hero to not be involved in any kind of fight so far. When it comes to at least getting assists out at the very least. So, as I say that, he's in the middle lane. He has a static grip. It's only level 1, but even at level 1, it's 2.5 seconds stun. As long as he full channels in, and they're going to be looking to go in most likely Prisoner. If he pushes up even a little bit further right here, he's going to be gone on definitely. But you could tell he knows something's up. I don't. Do they have a Rev? Oh yeah, the Rev Ward was spotting him. Yep.
I don't think it might have been actually spotted him.
Yeah,
I think it was more because Tempest was rotating over. But I mean, look at it though. Like, if you think Dawn were actually well, they kind of still are farming 2, even maybe 3 out of all of the 3 lanes, whereas Rexars really weren't able to. Now Soul Stealers has to play very, very aggressive to farm this top lane, and Rexars were only really farming 1 out of the 3 lanes, while Dawn were farming all 3, and that's why the golden experience has gone up quite considerably in the last minute because of this. Tier 2 tower is still being dropped in it, and the lane hasn't gone back. So. Already, man, they're doing great ways of just sort of keeping the resource control in their favour for Dawn here.
Speaking of resource control, Swiftblade Probust. This is more like it, what we come to expect with him on this hard carry, more of definitely the one in the hack the last game, in the sense of can go around getting a lot of farm, and he's 430 gold per minute right now. He's level 11, 1-0-1 right here. He went the Ghost Marches in Energizer first. I believe he just got the Abyssal Skull now. So he's getting a lot of his early game farm items, and that allow him to also be very effective in these team fights. So they're really trying to set up this gank onto Electrician. But again, that's the thing with Electrician. It's with that root, it's not as powerful, of course. So got to be a little careful when looking to initiate onto him. And he's going to be back far enough, though, to the point where nothing's actually going to be happening as a result of that. So Ancient's being done. Magnus, they're really trying to get him that portal key. He's still a little bit of ways off, about 1220 gold saved up. Prisoner also on that boat. He actually has more than enough. Wow, 2,300 gold for him, so expect him to get that portal key. As a jungler, he's 5-5, but in lane he's 12-6. Yeah, keep it the forest.
I wondered what it was going to be like.
I mean, that's very interesting, because, again, Keeper got those nerfs that were tailored more towards his suicide potential. Laning potential, but I guess it's just ultimately the pull that he has, that how you can also then get the jungler to go with him, like a Tempest or an Ophelia or whatever. Probably that's what makes sense there. Yeah,
just quite a passive jungler as well. Doesn't offer too much for full level 6. And man, these stats are so awesome. Like, because you can say something and then you got stats to back you up as well. Like, makes me look really clever. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It also makes you look pretty dumb sometimes, though. So
that's true.
Fair, I mean,
that is true.
Yeah, it's kind of give and take, really.
But yeah, just going back to the Dawn Golden Experience League, like, they've actually increased their Golden Experience League by about like 1,000 or even 2,000 after the last couple of minutes. And this top lane, though, like I stated it before, but if you actually, I don't know if you saw Breaky, but when Magnus was farming up here, he still had it here, but he actually allowed Prisoner to take up the top lane, and this actually gave him his portal key. So definitely the right way of sort of prioritizing the farm on your initiator. Obviously, Magnus is an initiator, but you'd rather have one hero with like the portal key than both having decent farm but without a portal key in that respect. So just good, honestly. Strategy and good sort of farm prioritization from Dawn coming out here. A lot of a difference from then in game 1, honestly. So got their act together in game 2 here, Breaky.
Yeah. I read this pause. Excuse me there. I'm actually monitoring the other game, BMG versus Night Raid, and as you can see, again, Night Raid not using really their A roster by any means. A couple of ringers even coming out for them, but I mean, that's kind of interesting. This is still game 1, I believe. They're about 39 minutes in, so they did start a little bit late. So BMG looks like they have a pretty good, good spot. 34 to 13 hero kills. Yeah, you just look at everything. But yeah, Silhouette is actually seems like he's so. That's probably, if anything, the only reason that Night Raid's kind of hanging in there. So
I find it's quite funny how the ringer is doing probably the best on Night Raid. Right?
The guy stepping in on that carry role, just being like, "I'll take care of business here." I mean, it does go to show you, though. Like, there's so many good players that don't even play, like, on the competitive scene a whole lot. That just, just because, whether it's because of just lack of time investment or just because they're not really that interested in it, they just prefer TMM or whatever. But, I mean, there really is just so many top-tier players, throughout the TMM scene that we just don't even know about. For those reasons,
I mean,
perhaps, so.
That's true. But I mean, like, even though you could have like great individual skill, but that doesn't mean you're a competitive player. Like, it's a lot of the mentality and the mindset as well. You need to have as a competitive player because, first of all, it's a different game, but also like it's always like I remember once when I was captain, like we had a couple of players on our team who were incredibly skilled, but like their mentality was kind of toxic to the team, and like if they're all very, very negative after you lose, like you just don't want that in a team. And even though they might be incredibly skilled players, like you have to have the right mindset if you want to be successful in obviously in competitive Hon, regardless of what kind of game you play. So it requires more than just individual skill in that respect.
Absolutely, definitely agree with you. So. But, that even kind of goes more to, teams like Rexer. And a lot of this season has been about the, as I stated from the very beginning, the hype video that we made at the beginning was expecting the unexpected, basically. In a sense that we got a lot of new players. We got a lot of new teams that we get to look forward to. Sure, we had, some no-name teams and players that, of course, moved on to other adventures. But, that opened the doors for a lot of these new players. I mean, you think of the players that nowadays that we got, like, for, like, Boxy. Yeah, Willowkeeper, for example. Teams like these guys, Dawn, obviously, how they've stepped up. Nullstone Gaming. I mean, names that we didn't know before a whole lot of now making a splash on the scene. So, it's kind of recycling in a sense, where others leave, others will step in. And
exactly. For a new world to be built, Breaky, the old one has to be teared down.
Dang, that is deep. So you just went really deep right there.
I'm sorry, Breaky.
So deep. Bottom lane, you see a Prisoner coming in to kind of push it back. So a lot of moving together, it seems like. Dawn doing a lot of that right now. They're going to be going to this bottom lane. I really feel like perhaps a lot of it has to do with the way Swiftblade built here. I mean, he's very heavy on the early game.
Yeah. Well, normally, like, if you go carry Swiftblade, there's kind of two ways you can play it. Either you can play it as kind of like what Probus is doing here, very involved in team fights, involved in early skirmishes, or go for the the mass farm in terms of the Rune Cleaver and even maybe the Frostburn, for example. But it looks like they're actually going to be like a split push here. So you've got Vector's pushing the tier 1 mid, but actually Dawn are trading with a tier 2 tower. But actually, Prisoner is setting up here, so there might be an engagement middle lane.
He is looking for the opportunity. Pretty good spread coming out from Rexars. They will get the bottom secondary in the meantime.
Great trade.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to even
trade.
be intimidating enough to save the middle tower. So very good trade, obviously, for Don right there.
And they keep their 2-1 tower as well. So awesome trade coming out from Dawn, and the golden experience lead is a little bit slight in that respect, but still 4,000 gold and 3,000 experience is nothing to scoff at in that respect. And they might take some ancients here as well. Actually, they're going to block the ancients as well, which is quite important. I think I've seen Dawn taking a lot of ancients, but I don't think I've seen Rex was taking them at all. And when they've actually got a Soulsteer, I'm kind of surprised they haven't been stacking a lot of the jungle or the ancients, because Soulsteer is like one of the best heroes to actually farm them, particularly early on as well. But haven't seen too much of stacking from Rexars.
Yeah. Yeah, Soul Stealer up here, level 11 right now. He's going for the first item. Well, I guess technically went Energize here, but going to be following that up with a Shrunken Head here, as we see. Yeah, needs to get back right now because they are rotating over, and he's going to do exactly just that. Yeah, see a whole port to, looks like just back to base action. Okay, yeah, he actually had enough for the full Shrunken Head there, so there you go. He's ready to get involved in team fights earlier on now because of his build too, so a lot of that potential coming out. There's the bottom tower push in the meantime.
Yeah, I thought Keeper was gonna set up with a root there in TPM, but they were just a little bit too slow. I think they were farming ancients or something else, so couldn't do it in the end. So good trade count from Rexars. Got the 2-1 tower for practically nothing in return.
Now, what do you think about Swiftblade's follow-up? Okay, I was gonna say maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. I was gonna say it's going for Shrunken, but I guess it could be going Ice Brand.
I would really like to see him go Shrunken though, because like I said before, like what do Rexars really have outside of magical damage? Yeah, maybe a couple of auto attacks from Soulstealer, but he's got a Shrunken Head himself, so he's not dishing out too much damage. And I mean, with Blade Frenzy, yeah, it gives magic immunity, but you know, having a Shrunken Head on top of that, like he will not die in these team fights, and that's kind of the aim of the game right now in that respect, because there's a lot of AoE sort of ultimate sort of century, Tempest, Pyromancer, and even sort of Soulstealer. Once you withstand that, then obviously you can start outlasting and winning the team fights eventually. But
yeah,
I think Shrunken Head could actually be really useful here, but I don't think he will go for it though.
Oh, bottom lane. This is interesting. Mass Team P keeping the force coming in with the flank. Prison Break already used. Here we go with the jump as well. Protecting Melody Magma's going to survive. Swift Slash is coming out. A lot of targets. So keeping the force. He still has the rated. Soulburst comes out from Soulstealer, but Swiftblade was spinning in the meantime. Purge is being used. Keeper still has not rooted, actually. He is around. He needs to root now, most likely. Will he root? He hasn't yet. He's just trying to run away. In the meantime, Swiftblade gets picked off. What is Keeper doing? He did not root that whole time.
He's trying to save it for Tempest, but in that case, he just held it for too long. Like, it's kind of like, oh, who's going to wait for the ultimates first?
Yeah.
And Tempest is having a lot more impact in the game, though. He's got the, obviously, the Glacial Downpour, the Glacial Blast and the Meteor. Well, Keeper's just sitting in the back, so while Tempest is team fighting, Keeper is waiting for the ultimate from Tempest, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a 5v4 team fight. And even though Tempest didn't even use the ultimate, it was the threat of the ultimate that was such a big impact in that team fight there. And as a result, Rexars, man, got right back in it after that team fight.
Yeah, no, I guess you got to give it to Rocky Balboa then. I mean, I was so panicked on Keeper the Force right there, but I mean, it makes sense, but Rocky Balboa having the patience and not panic use his own ultimate, realizing that they were going to have it in the end, and that's really what threw them off guard, clearly, so.
Exactly, and if Tempest ultimate's there, that's actually a kind of win from Keeper the Forest, because obviously Tempest can't interrupt Keeper, because obviously he roots and that's it, but while Tempest used that channel and ultimate, not only does it sort of stop his ultimate, but it sort of puts him under the root, but also his whole team. So him holding that ultimate was honestly like one of the biggest impacts or the biggest features in that team fight there, because it just forced Iceland Gogo to either decide not to get involved in team fight or blow it, and then result in sort of maybe getting a 3 or 4 man Tempest ultimate that was unstoppable in that respect. So yeah, really big play count from Rocky Balboa. Had a good presence of mind in that team fight.
You see right here, and we even talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I gotta believe this is honestly somewhat of even a strap pause coming out from Don. I mean, knowing that they're down 1-0, they're on the verge. A loss here would mean they're going to gold next cycle, on top of also even finishing 7th, 8th here in cycle 5 for Diamond, and their run being done for here. So that's a lot to absorb right now, and no doubt they got to be feeling the pressure. So calming things down, getting a pause out here. Okay, the fight didn't go the best, but we still have plenty of game left. They still have a Swiftblade. That is 428 gold per minute. He's getting the Shrunken Head next, and that'll no doubt be a very, very powerful tool come the next fight. And I'm really just looking at both these teams right now, especially when it comes to the carries, the Soulstealer and the Swiftblade. Both built a very just aggressive, or more so a ready-to-team fight earlier on than a very greedy farming build. And I find that very interesting that both decided to kind of go that route. And that's where we're at, because usually, if anything, one will go the greed and the other will maybe go team fight earlier on. But both are just ready to clash, clearly. And that's definitely making for some very interesting potential, at least, and as we kind of saw there in that bottom fight. But yeah, no doubt perhaps another difference maker was the fact that Soul Stealer had his Shrunken Head, unlike Swiftblade, who did not have it going into that fight. So he is a little bit off. Oh, Magnus still doesn't have his portal key either. Jeez, yeah, they really need that. As we're now 20.5 minutes in. This is a suicide Magnus, of course, but still. You'd ideally like that by now. So getting the portal key and the Shrunken Head could definitely change some things here in this fight in the future, definitely. So is Tempest going portal key speed to that? Yes, he is. He actually just got a portal key himself. So now he has that jump. Okay, there's the glowstone from Electrician. So again, and I mean, he could actually make an icon right now if he really was going for that. So it looks like he is going staff, yeah.
Yeah, like icon doesn't like either you go icon like first item and sort of go all in on that sort of item and try and get as early as possible to really get effect of obviously the charges, or you go staff, and yeah, you go staff definitely. After those, there's 1,000 go away from staff, and this actually probably allows Tempest to use ultimate when he wants, because then if Keeper does blow the root, then Electrician can sort of utilize his cleansing shot and obviously free everyone in that respect.
That's a little more freedom. I mean, still ideally though, you want your Elemental Void to be channeled, a good duration. But yeah,
absolutely. It's just like, it has a little bit more freedom. Because like, if Rocky Balboa sort of used the ultimate in the last fight, then not only is he sort of screwing himself up, but he's screwing his team up as well. Because obviously, it's going to be like a 3 or 4 man route, which obviously no one can do anything about.
That also gives a little more freedom to Soul Stealer here, perhaps. Where in some cases like this, he might go a Geometer Speed next. I wonder if he's going to perhaps go something else. I mean, I'm trying to think here as far as what actually would make sense other than a Geometer Speed. I mean, it is honestly just a pretty good item on him in general.
He could go Shield Breaker, honestly, because they are lacking a lot of his. Like, he's lacking a little bit of physical presence, and I mean, Geometer Speed gives a little bit of physical presence in it. So he's going to go at himself. I say he could have gone Shield Breaker, because you're right, like. He doesn't really need to go Geometer's Bane because obviously he's going to be covered from the Electrician's cleansing shot, but Geometer's Bane is probably just quite safe as well in that respect.
Yeah. And speaking of that, oh, interesting. Swiftly changing it up. He actually goes the Firebrand right here. So he went the... I think it's actually going to be more of a Frostburn in the end. I don't even know if it's going to be a Shrunken Head here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was going to be a Frostburn. I just think Shrunken Head would be better in that respect.
Okay.
Because then like he simply can't die in team fights. But.
Yeah, I mean that's quite the decision, because at this rate he would have had a Shrunken Head pretty much by now, instead of purchasing the Firebrand right there. And so if a fight takes place in the next couple of minutes, and depending on how it plays out, that could come back to haunt him. But yeah, he does get the Firebrand, and that of course will just naturally enhance his farm and give him more damage output.
Unless you just want to get the sort of the glowing fire hands, and that's why he didn't go
That's true, yeah. You know what, that's probably it. He's like, I want my hands to glow, damn it. Or my swords even, so that's why he got it. Yeah.
That's why.
Top lane, what's up here? Pyromancer, he might be in some trouble for some reason, farming the jungle while the rest of his team is at the bottom lane, trying to get him a little bit of farm, and nothing wrong with that, but he is going to be fine, actually, so that's the good news there. He's using quite a bit of his mana here in the meantime, so he'll probably need to go back and regen here shortly. Useful for the team. 3,800 gold on Prisoner. I guess he's going to be right-clicking a Shrunken Head here. At this point.
Yeah, he could go in Sanitarius as well, though. Does a lot of damage, but I think Shrunken's probably safest, though. Like I said before, Rexos don't have much outside of magical damage, so yeah, it's going to be Shrunken. The safe play to make.
We didn't see that yesterday, and I mean, it's true, though, especially with his rework even. I mean, he has potential to be a really hard hitter.
Yeah,
but, I mean, they do have a Swiftblade, I guess, so he's already putting out a lot of their threat as far as right-click, so maybe that's where it kind of kicks in. He's just more of the beefy initiator. But, I mean, they got to keep him. I don't know. I don't know if I like that really.
Yeah. I mean, he can go in Sanitarius after, though, so...
Well, yeah, I mean... he can go in after, but that's now another... how much is the Sanitarius? We're looking at 2750 gold that he has to now farm up and get to that point, so...
Still.
There's
it's just safe, though.
Okay, so Frostburn it is.
If Rexos can't really deal... If there's only one hero on Rexos that can... Or maybe two if you include Tempest, but if you can just include like sort of Solstice to really address the Shrunken Heads, then why not pick it up, really? Like, you nullify 3 of the 5 heroes that of Rexos, then you might as well pick up Shrunken Head if it does that much work.
See the bottom lane, they actually fall back before anyone looks at jump them. Electrician, again, you kind of see the effect on him, even he's got that staff of the Master now, so... Just to clarify what that does, I know it's not a hero we see too often, let alone the staff. So the Cleansing Storm, as it's now called, it will actually now not only hit the targeting targets, but 2 additional targets nearby. Power Master, in the meantime, he's in trouble, and he eventually will fall right there. Tempest coming in, but just too late, of course, at that point. So that, I mean, again, though, especially, I mean, so he's on level 13 right now, but I was going to say at level 16, that's only a 4-second cooldown. Hell, it's only 8 seconds right now. So he's...
Yeah, it's it lasts for 5 seconds as well.
And it lasts for, yeah, exactly. So he can basically keep a speed buff up on his team is something else to note. How much does a speed buff? Yeah, increases your move speed by 50% at level 3 too. So he can keep him and himself kind of like a gank squad even.
Some blitz.
On the map.
He needs blitz when you have electrician.
Exactly. Middle lane, no, they're kind of pushing, but that's Soul Stealer for you.
Soul Stealer, yeah.
And they're gone. On him, of course. 522 gold per minute. He's got Big R along here playing the Soul Stealer. Pebbles, he's charging in. Almost like he wants to go in here. Prisoner's off to the side, though. Do they know he's there? No, they don't. Prisoner goes into the background. Pebbles jumped in. But the follow-up not going to be the prettiest because of Prisoner here. We call it. Rush to be jailed. It goes off. The stun in. Soul Stealer. He has no soul burst. There's the soul burst. No, it got canceled initially, but it goes off for the other. Protectability was a second too late right there. And it looks like Rexers is coming out on top as a result. Swiftblade, he's barely alive. He's not alive. He goes down right there. Keeper of the Force, the sole survivor. It's going to be a 5-for-1 exchange in favor of Rexers. They lose Soul Stealer, but they get the job done in the end. I'm possibly going to go for a Kongor here, most likely, but what a fight for Rexars.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I mean, that, yeah, it's a Soul Stealer was kind of kiting around into the trees right there, and the Tempest ultimate obviously secured it.
And that's what I kind of mean, like, with the Tempest ultimate, though, even if he gets stopped immediately, he does set up, obviously, the Soul Burst from Soul Stealer, and the Shrunken Head just finished from Prisoner, and obviously the Blade Frenzy finished in Swiftblade, and both of them just got absolutely obliterated. And that's kind of all of the damage. Magma's already used Eruption, so, you know, after Swiftblade and Prisoner died, you know, there's no more team fight left for Dawn. Keeper obviously blowed his root, and Rhapsody doesn't do anything. And also, the Protected Melody was like half an inch outside. If Protected Melody saves Swiftblade and Prisoner there, I'm pretty sure they'll win the team fight, but Protected Melody just a couple of inches outside.
Yeah.
And as a result, Rexars not only take the team fight, but the Kongor as well. And I think they're actually going to protect, they're going to protect it for Soul Stealer as well. So, pretty good play.
Yeah, very smart. Yeah, they know that the Legion team is not really nearby right now, so got some time, and yeah, Soul Stealer will easily get there in time and pick it up. And yeah, what a great, and I gotta think again, it's one of those games with so much going on, it's hard to tell, but I'm sure the Cleansing Shock as well, or Cleansing Storm again, as this call was also pretty impactful. I wouldn't be surprised if he used it right after the root came out, you know, giving this team some freedom on top of that. So yeah, ultimately everything coming together right there. You do see Prisoner, they're looking right away at this Legion team to kind of get some revenge. Whoa, that was a misclick. Prisoner pops his Shrunken Head on accident as he's cleaning out some elementals right there. So that's another second taken off. It's down to 8 seconds now. You know, and that's actually going to be a cooldown now for 60. I mean, clearly they want to make a fight happen here, so that's kind of a big deal. And that was seen because he was beating it on the elementals. So Rexars knows that Prisoner does not have a Shrunken Head right
They're
now.
fighting against Token as well. Like, I don't, like, root is up, I guess, but still, fighting against Token is risky.
They're hanging about. Maybe that's where they're going to catch the Rexars up. That's the idea. It's like they wouldn't fight into us right now, but no, they are going to fall back. Yeah, I agree with you. It's just too risky. You know, don't force the issue. Sure, you're behind now a little bit more, but Swiftblade, I mean, he's still dangerous. He's still scary. They got great team fight. There's no doubt. I mean, honestly, their initiation wasn't that bad. Prisoner did a pretty good job initially of locking down the supporting cast after Pebbles went in, but
I mean, the perfect way to take a team out from Dawn has to be a hook in to say like Swiftblade and Magma's stun, because that's the only way they're going to instantly be able to burst someone down. I mean, preferably it would be like maybe the Tempest, because if they do it on the Soul Stealer, he's just going to pop strong and be fine, and obviously anyone else they can sort of support him. But yeah, sometimes the hook isn't the easiest one to land, and actually Rexars are happy to sort of team fight now. Tempest ultimate is up as well, so.
That is very interesting. I'm not surprised to see Swiftblade up there, but Soul Stealer is actually the highest win percentage hero right now in Hunter Season 3, with a minimum of 15 games, of course. So, you know, minimum of some meaningful games. 68%, nearly 69% right there. That's pretty impressive, actually. I would not have expected that, but here comes that jump Pebble. So he got the illusion, though. They got the illusion. That could backfire. Soul Stealer gets pulled in. He's got a token, but he is going to end up dropping here most likely right off the bat. Root comes out, so no root threat. Tempest ultimate is ready to go. here from Rocky Balboa. Here's the counter initiation. Protect the Melody will save Keeper, but he's already rooted, so really that's not accomplishing a whole lot. Social gets pulled in though. Will they follow it? No, they can't in time. Geometer's being popped, and the cleansing shock out right there. So I'm honestly a little surprised the Rexars didn't really even push the issue more right there, but they were going into the base, so didn't want to risk it, and that's fine, I guess.
Pavel still died as well, though. So
that's true. Okay.
A little bit of good thing for Dawn, but they still lose their tier 2 tower. And I mean, honestly, like something we haven't really mentioned, but definitely it's going to play a big impact. Is honestly this shrunken head being used by Prisoner. Like he's already used it like 3 times, so it's only got 7 seconds left. Like he won't have the greatest farm to actually buy another one anytime soon. And for only 5 seconds, like it's not going to be enough. Honestly, like you saw in the last team fight around Congo, like the shrunken head, finished from Prisoner, and the soul burst from Solstice did so much damage. Like if he's not careful, like it's going to happen every single team fight. But you saw a couple of hooks did make a big difference from Dawn though, and obviously did kill Pebbles in the end. So that's what they need to do: make sure they land the hooks and just try and burst them down in the meantime.
Yeah. I see again Dawn kind of responding a little bit right there, pushing out the middle, but again the tower stays more than alive and they fall back before any jump happens or anything like that. Dawnbringer, of course, on Swiftblade, and so he's got the good amount of damage threat now. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if he did go for a shrunken head, I mean, sure, as far as team fight goes, mobility and everything could have helped out, but at the same time, his damage would have been definitely lacking. So
yeah,
full Dawnbringer definitely brings that into play, and now he could possibly go a shrunken head at this point to kind of counteract what's going on here. But yeah, look at heroes like Electrician even. With that staff of the Master, now he's got a Soul's Bulwark for his team. He too is going for a shrunken head, it looks like. Himself, another 3,000 gold on Soul Stealer. He's got options here as far as what he goes for. I mean, you mentioned Shieldbreak earlier, possibly instead of the Geometer's Bane, but he got the Geometer's Bane. Maybe something like a Wing Bow, you think? Because I don't know if Savage Mace is going to be happening here.
Yeah, Savage Mace he could go Savage Mace, but like it's well far away until sort of Wingbow's picked up from Swiftblade. So I think Wingbow would be perfect. Like Swiftblade isn't going to pick up any Savage Mace either.
Well, no, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I should have clarified that. Yeah, I meant no Savage Mace from Swiftblade is going to be coming. So.
Yeah, so I mean, like, either way, like it's obviously if Swiftblade picks up a Wingbow, then Savage Mace will be needed for Soul Stealer. So I think he could probably go Wingbow and then Savage Mace if Wingbow's picked up from some Swiftblade, and he's got the shrunken head as well. So like he's not going to die from magical damage, and if he picks up a Wingbow, he's definitely not going to die from physical either. So he should just be completely almost invulnerable if he does pick up the Wingbow, and it's obviously going to be useful for his illusions as well. So
Magnus getting back before the obvious jump was coming right here. I mean, they were hunting. Rexars was ready to go, but Magnus gets away, and you can see on the minimap, Dawn just completely spreading out right now. They're in complete retreat mode, and then they need to be careful about their base too. Bottom and middle lane are both being pushed in right here in favor of Rexars, so they're going to be constantly occupied with that, and smart move by Rexars, as because of that, they're moving towards the top lane, and they're going to be pushing that in now as Soul Stealer leads the way, of course. Now looking at 3,800 gold, so whatever that new item may be, it's going to be coming up here in the near future with the way he's saving up gold here at this point. Speaking of that, a lot of gold being saved up on the Legion side, really mainly for buybacks, I would think, at this point, knowing that a fight could possibly happen here very shortly. So 4 out of the 5 heroes. Rapid, the only one with no buyback currently, and that's not really the biggest deal in the world. They're not going to commit to top, though. They want to go elsewhere. It looks like middle now. They're going to roam too, so just keeping the roam on, stealing the resources away from Dawn is the game plan of Rexars right now, and that makes sense. Again, Rexars up 1-0, trying to sweep a series against Dawn to not only stay alive here in Cycle 5, but knock out Dawn of not only the Cycle, but again, going to gold, which would be Cycle 6. And that would be quite the setback, because we're looking at, Dawn especially, third place finish, because something else to note here as the later part of the season is points. Points is going to start adding up, and if you're in gold, you don't have the possibility to earn as many points as you would in diamond every year. So
that's true.
That's just another one of those things that's even a really big deal for a team like Dawn.
Is that top 8? Is it? I'm
not exact. I don't even know if it's 100% sure as far as what the ultimate end is going to be as far as after Cycle 8, what the playoffs look like. So I can't say for sure, but getting as high as possible is safe to say.
Still useful.
Makes sense, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
What is this about? Currently, oh wow, below 600 gold per minute. He's 0-9. Like really?
They need him to be
If
all
he's
in,
not
man.
farming 600 gold per minute, he's 0. That's kind of hilarious, actually.
That is kind of funny, actually.
That backs up the whole idea, though, that it's about pro buffs when it comes to Dawn.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. Middle lane, nope, nothing here. I guess overall there hasn't been a whole lot of action. There's really been a couple of fights that have taken place, and that's it. They've been pretty epic fights, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's because, honestly, if one of the either heroes dies, like, it can mean so much in terms of, like, if one of Dawn dies and they don't have a buyback, then that's going to be wrecked and almost a game. So it's very, very critical they don't farm aggressively. They don't, obviously, you know, play too aggressive in terms of sort of getting picked off in that respect. So they have to play passive and just keep on farming. And it's kind of, they've got such a similar strategy as well, so there's not much they can do outside of just farm and team fight. And if Dawn are behind, then, you know, why would they want to team fight into a losing battle? But here he comes. Oh, good portal kill from Pebbles.
That was a great reaction right there. Yeah, and actually, Prisoner's like, crap, I'm in trouble. Portal kill. Tempest ultimate? No. I mean, that probably would have been. Yeah, he had a buyback, so it's like, it's worth it.
Probably not worth it. To be fair, probably not worth it.
Chooses not to. God,
we're actually going to try and push, though. I think it's the right call to make, though, because there's no strong head on Prisoner, so every single one of Dawn can be, like, sort of impacted by magical damage, and obviously Rexar's, particularly like Electrician, will fall off, and there's the Wingbow, actually, from Solstice as well. Yep. So.
And yeah, Swiftblade going the Assassin Shroud, eventually Genjiro, I'm sure, so yeah, the threat of a Savage Mace not really there from the Legion team, so yeah, Wingbow even that much stronger as a result of that option from Soulstealer, so currently doesn't have it, and actually, he needs to be careful here. Magnus and Keep. Okay, it falls back. I was going to say, if he kept going for one more creep wave, that could have been deadly. But
I mean, Rexar's probably going to wait till next Conga and then push from that. They've got Wingbow and Sorcerer as well, and the Shrunken Head on Pebbles, and the Shrunken Head on Tempest as well, actually. So they've got, like, all the core items they really need. And Dawn, they're just a little bit far behind in terms of gold, where they need to be to actually sort of get back into this game, really. And I mean, when the next Congo fight happens, like, I don't think Dawn can even contest it really, because like they're fighting against a lot of AoE synergy from Rexars, and obviously they're going to be Legion compared to the Hellborn advantage.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty grim for Dawn, honestly.
They got to be feeling it, and again, it's the extra impact. If this was like a first round matchup, a round of 8. You lose, okay, well, we got the losers bracket, you know, at least we have that fallback. Again, just knowing what is on the line here for Dawn, especially after their previous cycle finish, it's just got to be something that's, you know, hope for their sake it's not something they're really thinking about actively, necessarily, but it's got to be on the mind as they are human beings after all. Kongor going to be attempted. Rexar's, this should be I don't want to say free Kongor, actually, but it's they're in a good spot. No Hellborn for one, but they got a good lead on Kongor, actually, and it's only until now that Dawn is going to realize that it's going on. So I don't think Dawn's going to be able to stop this. Yeah, they're just falling back, actually. They realize. Maybe? They're don't do the worst case scenario. Okay, yeah, they are going to fall back. We've seen that so many times where they get desperate, they try to go in at the last second, and it completely backfires. So that's good for Dawn that they fell back when they did, because that could have been deadly.
Yeah, but I mean, now with Token on Soulstealer, though, like, they can easily siege the racks now, and I mean, it's just going to force Dawn to actually go on Soulstealer, and if they do that, they've got great counter initiation with Pebbles and Tempest, so, like, for Dawn, like, the only really way, unless they get, like, some sick hook right back into the base where Reckless can't help Soulstealer, like, Dawn, actually, they do get pick off, actually, onto Tempest, so at least it does delay the push, actually, so.
Still slash is used.
But still, I mean, it probably what happened was Tempest will come back and then they'll push from there. And the only really way they can deal is some kind of a sick hook onto Soulstealer right behind like enemy lines, where Pebbles and Tempest will either have to commit really, really bad positioning, or just sort of let Soulstealer die. So I think that's the best sort of way teamfights can happen.
Uh-oh, Keeper the Force in a lot of trouble. He was going for the TP, but the tablet from Pebbles stopped that. Now Magnus actually happened to be nearby. He actually stuns Pebbles. Pebbles, though, now going to be going for Magnus. Yeah, he has a pound die. Steam Bath's not going to do too much against him, as he noticed right there. Another stun coming up in 1 second, though. We should be... Oh, right after the stalagmites. Yep, gets it in time. And going to be fine. Very, very close right there. Pebbles doing a lot of work of keeping them out of their jungle, if anything. So, although they didn't get a kill, they stopped some resources from coming out. But a Genjiro finish in the meantime from Probus, who again, he really just continues to farm like a beast, man. And it ain't 600 GPM yet, but...
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be enough, honestly. Like, you got Wingbow and Soulstealer, so they're not going to be able to do too much damage to him, and he's going to be the one that's dishing out all the damage, so... Yeah, for Dawn, it's just looking a little bit grim. Like, honestly, they have to rely so much on this massive hook out from Labyrinth, and it's depending on whether he can land it or not.
Yeah. You just feel the tension, man, and understandably so, especially for Don once again, knowing that what is on the line here. So it's going to come down to a pretty epic fight, no doubt. I mean, it's 11 to 10 hero kills, and as stressed earlier, it's really just from a couple of fights that have happened now. A 40-minute game here that's been going on. Bottom lane, Swiftblade, they know he's here. They got to know something's up. Do they have a bound eye? He just popped his Genjiro. He's in a lot of trouble. Dust comes out. They see him now. And all of a sudden, Proposki needs to get the hell out of here. He does not have a buyback. If he dies, this could be the game even. Swiftblade, he's in trouble. He doesn't. He does have Swift Slash. Excuse me. There's the burst out. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Down goes Swiftblade. Magnus comes in just a second too late. And all of a sudden, the chase is on now for Rexars. Magnus may actually escape. It looks like he will. But you just got to go, go, go if you're Rexars right here. They need to push in this middle lane. They are going to do exactly that. They probably don't know 100%. I mean, he just got the Genjiro, though. They got to have an idea.
Yeah, they have to know. They have to know, definitely. Yeah, this is going to be Rex. It might even be 2 sets of Rex as well. Like, I don't think Dawn can even contest him. They have to give up 1 Rex, and fighting without Swiftblade is just suicide. So, unless they have some kind of miracle, I don't think they're going to be able to do too much breaking.
You can't. You just got to give it up. They're counter pushing. You know now, Rexars is all in. I mean, they know. If he's not buying back right now, if they're counter pushing like they are, he definitely does not have a buyback. So they're going all out right here. And he's not even close to maybe getting a buyback. There's no way that's happening. So he's waiting for the half more minute right here. And this is going to be 2 sets of racks, as you pointed out. So sure, they kind of push the middle secondary, but what is that ultimately going to really do you in the end? It's just kind of a making the best of a bad situation. Magnus, he will harass a little bit. Prisoner can do the same with the pull-in. Pops are going to head, just distracting, but down goes the melee racks. Needs to be careful not to feed now at this point. Protect that not. And bought that Tempest. Ultimate comes out. Keeper Root, however, going to counter initially. Purge coming out from Electrician, though. And the Soul Burst on top of that, but was the commitment too much? A beautiful hook coming out from Prisoner. And Swiftblade has resurrected. The second Root comes out, so he has the Resto Stone. Electrician on the run now. Token Alive going to be popped in the background on a Soul Stealer. Prisoner on him. Electrician is going to fall. Can Soul Stealer get away is another question. He will get pulled back in, and now Swiftblade on top of him. No, Swiftblade's actually chasing somebody else. Swiftblade's chasing Pebbles over here. Swift slashes, and he will get the kill, but Soulstealer actually, he can run pretty effectively right. He turns around, he takes out Rhapsody at least, but now he is probably going to fall. He probably would have anyways, and he gets cleaned up. Okay, so, I mean, they do clean up, but they did lose 2 racks, melee racks specifically, throughout all of it in the end. So I still think Rexar is very happy, of course. Oh,
definitely, and Dawn won't be able to get anything either because everyone's got a buyback here on Rexar. So still such a great trade coming out from Rexar's, and I think they should buy back here, try and defend the Rex.
We'll see what they make a decision of. I mean, yeah, you got to defend the racks, right? There's no reason not to use those buybacks if you have them. If vulnerability comes out, Electrician already using his. Tempest is going to be up soon, but he won't have an Elemental Void, so not the biggest deal that that's happening. But you got to think Soulstealer's going to be fine back here if they commit further, which they're not, understandably so. And Swiftblade, yeah, he's going to fall back before the chase continues onto him. So they can't even get the racks. They can't even force a buyback. And that just goes to show, you know, how far they got behind right there at that point. Now, I mean, overall Golden experience, it actually stayed very similar, believe it or not, despite all that just happened right there. But,
yeah, which it's obviously like a good thing for Dawn, but it just seems like Rexars are almost so far ahead in terms of what they actually have on the map in terms of 2 Rex, but also just in terms of team fights as well. Like, the only way Dawn can really get involved in team fights is either Rexars overstaying their weapon or some massive hook out from Labyrinth. Like in the last team fight, like he hooked him back to sort of tier 4s, which is a big deal. Obviously, there's Resto on Keeper of the Forest, but Swiftblade just doesn't seem to be doing enough to really contest his Soul Stealer. Like, he doesn't have a Savage Mace, like, he doesn't have a Wingo over his own, and like the Dawnbringer is good and all, but it's just not enough damage, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, getting caught out, of course, the previous fight to start all that, we didn't really get to see 100% of what he could possibly do, but I mean, he's got 3,000 gold saved up. No doubt it's going to be a very heavy damage item. Wouldn't be surprised to see that Savage Mace possibly coming out for him. And I know he has 2 buybacks still, but I almost want to say you might be in that spot. Even if it comes to a point you have like enough gold for Savage Mace but no buybacks, you might just want to buy the Savage Mace, honestly, because it could pretty much be all in that case. So we'll see if it comes to that. But
I think Savage Mace is actually more important than a buyback here, because if they can kill Soul Stealer, like, although he has 2 buybacks, I don't think Soul Stealer will buy back and then run into the next team fight. Like, he could buy back and post haste, but it's unlikely. And having a buyback like isn't that important, because if his whole of his team dies, they won't have a buyback. So Savage Mace is definitely important, but there's no point in him picking up a Slayer just yet, because obviously buyback's more important than the Slayer. So he should keep all the money until he can afford a Savage Mace altogether, and then buy it, because like I said before, if his team dies, there's no point in him having a buyback at all. So he has to go all in on the Savage Mace.
The other thing to keep in mind now, though, is Soul Stealer is going to have a bigger and better item, most likely, and that's across the board, too. I mean, you see what's being picked up here. I'm sure Resto's still being worked on Tempest. He still has a little bit to go. 3,500 gold saved up. I believe it's like 5,200. So he has a little bit to go for him. How about Pyromancer? This is a main support Pyromancer. He's 3,100 gold saved up already with Steam Boots and a tablet, so he's living the good life here as far as supports are concerned. It's safe to say, but again, yeah, just all across the board, it's great. And okay, he's buying a Whispering Help, so he's going to be going for the eventual Symbol of Rage here, but going to save for buyback for the time being, and that makes sense for him at least. Rexars has yet to win a game past 45 minutes. Interesting, and Don usually likes the longer game, so that is very interesting, actually. Looking at that, too. Again, that kind of goes back to the hard carry aspect, though. Play like Proboscis and getting him to farm, and the games will just naturally usually get drawn out a little bit longer. And I think they're actually up there. I was actually doing those team stats today of being one of the longer average games as far as teams that have played in Hunter Season 3 so far. I think they average at least over 40 minutes per game, if not a little bit more than that. So they are up there. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, probably the game plan for Rex was sort of similar to sort of what happened 10 minutes ago as well. Wait for Congo, pick up token, and then cheese, and then push in from there. They got the 2 Rex from the last Congo. Like, imagine what they can get with like a third token as well. And I mean, I think we noted it in the last series as well, like when we casted yesterday. But like Dawn, obviously in such a bad position, like there's no point in them sort of sitting back and farming, because it's just not going to do anything. Like, if it's obvious to us, then it must be obvious to them who's playing actually in the game. Yeah, obviously Resto Keeper is good, and obviously more Farmer Swiftblade is decent. But when you're going against this, fully kitted out Soul Stealer now, and obviously closing on a Resto Tempest as well, like, is farming and sort of sitting back the best option? I just don't think so.
Yeah, it goes back to if you're behind, you got to take those risks. So but for the time being, they are playing this a little bit more passive. I mean, sure, that's naturally going to happen, though, because especially when your middle and bottom lanes are being pushed them as heavy as they are, you just kind of got to defend at the same time. So apparently I was wrong, by the way. They're only 35-minute average, but still, it's up there. You see 5th out of 12 teams that are on record at least. So who's the top team that I'm blanking on there? I believe was it like Nullstone Gaming or something like that? I think the top team has something like nearly 42-minute average. And that was actually pretty crazy to see from what I could tell. So, Symbol of Rage finished in full, by the way, now on Soul Stealer. Yeah, he doesn't have buyback, so that's a little bit of a risk perhaps, but it's kind of goes to that logic, though, as we were talking about earlier with Swiftblade. Okay, reason average, yeah. 40 minutes, fair enough. There is the 5,000 gold now saved up on Swiftblade, so if anything, maybe it just has something to do with that for them. It's like, get the Savage Mace and then look to make something happen. But this is going to be another Congo attempt at least, and I assume a quick kill for Rexars. Oh, geez. Dawn, are they... It's such a tough spot because, again, Proboscis is so close to finishing another big item, yet they kind of want to defend Congo, I'm sure. Yeah, they're not going to. Or maybe? They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Crack. Oh, that's Pebbles with the bound eye. Uh-oh, Swiftblade. Nope, he's going to be caught right here. They got it. Tempest Ultimate. Here we go. Swiftblade gets the spin off, though. He's going to be fine initially. Root comes out from Keeper the Force. No Tempest Ultimate used just yet. He still has it to go. Swiftblade on the background. The channel of the hold from Electrician. The Soul Burst steps out. And down goes Swiftblade. He does have the buyback. Tempest Ultimate locks down Magnus as well. So mission accomplished. They got the token alive throughout it all as Swiftblade picks it up. So again, it's the classic case of maybe going in a little bit too late right there. And also just a great job by Pebbles having the invis and the bound eye. That just really caught Swiftblade off guard.
Yeah, and now token on Soul Stealer, like, Swiftblade does have a buyback, but, I mean, Magnus doesn't. And can they defend 4v5, let alone 4v5 against a token? I just don't think so.
This is it. This is their diamond lives are on the line right here for Dawn. A final fight, perhaps. Look at Proboscis. He's cutting through with the swift slashes. They get Pyromancer. He's going for Soul Stealer. The evasion's kicking in, though. You see the misses popping out. He's going to be fine for now. He will split up again. He's got a token, so even though he's slow, not the biggest steal. And he's helping to kill Prisoner. Prisoner will go down. So put in the background to take out Pebbles, but at what cost here? The static grip onto Swiftblade. The auto attacks from Soulstealer are so much. Swiftblade, however, now going back in himself. Soulstealer has a symbol. Yeah, he already used it. It's on Conan. He actually has a Shrunken, but again, he's going to save it if anything for after he comes up with the token, which apparently isn't even needed right here. The lifesteal has proven to be too much, actually. So he stays alive. Range Rax goes down middle. So Don, again, does enough to at least hang in there. But another big, big fight for Rexars, and that's going to mean even bigger and better items yet to come.
Yeah, and I think they're going to wait for Pebbles and then Paramount Scarp and then go. They've still got token on Soulstealer. And I think Bananas was used on Electrician, but not the biggest of deals. Swiftblade only has one more buyback now, but still, man, it's just too little, too late, honestly, it feels like.
Yeah. Soulstealer, 32 more 100 gold saved up, so, I mean, he's pretty much got a full inventory here. Maybe his post-haste at this point, of course, to come out and then the rebuy of the Shrunken Head even, but he does have his 2 buybacks even, so most certainly saving up for that. Look at the Electrician sending in his illusions, just gonna put some damage on the tower, at least a little bit, knowing that they're somewhat tanky there, so. Swiftblade, yeah, he does have the Slayer, so working towards a Savage Mace, but wants to at least have enough for his final buyback, if it calls for it here. Full Demonic finished on Prisoner, so there are some items that are pretty solid here coming out for our Legion team. 4,000 gold actually on Keeper of the Forest. I wonder where he's going to go. Grab something like a crowd control item, maybe even like a Sheep Stick here, especially with the Resto Stone. Could be very powerful. However, at the same time, he would may have mana issues with that said, so Sheep Stick does give you quite a bit, sure, but right now he's basically struggling to get a root, Resto root off at this rate. What is that? That's 400 plus the 350, right? No, 300, so 700 mana you're looking at to get double root right now, so. Anyways, here we go. Final fight. Very possible coming at you. Magnus stuns in. Here's the follow-up initiation, though, from Pebble. That's going off. Tempest will the ulti. Yes, he will. He gets stopped immediately, however, so that's good news for the Hellborn, or the Legion team, excuse me. And Swiftblade getting a spin out there, grouped up together. The Soul Burst, no, the root cancels it. Soulstealer bully, no, another stun cancels it. He's trying to get the Soul Burst off, but he just freaking can't. He finally does. But by the time he does, they've already ran away, so a very good fight from Dawn. But it just doesn't matter. The Savage Mace is purchased. The 100% all in. We're going to see Mega Creeps. It's going to have to be a Mega Creeps comeback for Dawn right here if they're going to do it. They take an Electrician. They're going to kill Soulstealer again. So they will kill him, but look at the World Tree. It is exposed right now. It's going to start taking some heavy damage. 100% all in. They can't just run there. I mean, somebody has to defend, right? Okay, yeah, Keeper. Okay, you're going to die. He's going to try to trail him into the well. Yeah, oh, God, that's going to be too much. This is 100% all in, though. Buyback from Soulstealer already happening. This is it. Will they stay in Diamond or will they not? That's basically what it comes to right here with this final push.
They got buyback on almost everyone, I think, didn't they? Outside of Electricians, so I don't think Swiftblade's going to be able to do anything. Yeah,
oh, he's going to try. He's going to try because he has to try, basically. So, but, I mean, Mega Creeps, too, though. Those things freaking hurt. There's a reason.
Keeper's like dying to him, look.
Yeah, you see back in the... I mean, this... As much as I would be effort to see it come back here, I think that could be it. Tempest, he is going to end up going down. Swiftblade does hit very hard, but good job by Rexars. Again, they don't need to go into them. They just got to play it very safe. They got to let the creeps do their job, and that's exactly what they're doing. So Don went for an all-in right there. It does not work out. Rexars does not take the bait fully, and that should do it. I mean, there's no way they're going to be able to push this back now. Like, literally, Rexars can sit in their well and very possibly still win this game at this point. So I guess we should have called it 100%, but Don, it's very, very possible if they're going to be dropped down to gold with a loss here. But, you know, maybe that's focusing too much on the negative because at the same time, Rexars, holy crap, coming into Diamond. Winless as far as games go so far, yet into this series, they're very likely going to be 2-0ing Dawn. And that's something.
Yeah.
Man.
It was great. They had a solid draft. They had like good execution of that draft, and they had some great plays. Well, you know, within the draft they had, like everything they've done, like even from like the plays in this game, have obviously like Rocky Balboa on the Tempest, they played great. Obviously Big Ardon on the Soulstealer as well, and just everything. But Yeah, I mean, obviously it was great from Rexos, but I have to admit though, Dawn it didn't feel like Dawn, like some of their strategy in draft, and just everything just seemed a little bit distracting. I don't know about how you felt, Greg, it just didn't feel like the old Dawn team.
I mean, the first game in itself, yeah, the Wretched Hack draft on to Pro Busk, it's like, that itself just really felt kind of awkward. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, and Rexars just played better as a team. When it came to the team fights, they were executing better, and it pulled through. So I think that was, yeah, I do agree there. This game a little bit more Dawn-esque, you could say. But at the same time, I mean, Rexars just simply outplayed them. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And that's where you got to give them the credit. The draft was very strong. Sure, the electrician into the keeper was very nice to see there. I just don't know anything specific that Dawn really could have done differently. That was like, oh, well, if they just did this, then they would have had a much better chance here. So, what is, oh my god. Swiftblade is like, screw this, we got to make something happen. Goes on the Pyromancer. The Soul Slashers didn't bound match him, but he's getting some good damage. Tempest, he's now having to deal with Swiftblade. Root coming out, front gear of the force. He's got a second one ready to go. Tempest, he's trying to ulti the lockdown on Swiftblade, though, as the channel comes out from Electrician. Swiftblade's dropping. He's going to fall here, most likely. Yes, he will. He has his final buyback, though, so again, they're doing what they can. But while that fight happens, again, look at the base. That's it. GG, well played. Rexars defeats Dawn, and Dawn is going gold. Wow.
Wow.
Did not see
Wasn't
that
expecting
coming.
that. Nope, I didn't expect that either, but I mean, Rexos just played very, very bro, and honestly, it felt like Dawn just almost wasn't expecting that from Rexos. I mean, I wasn't expecting it from Rexos. I know, Rexos are a great team, but for them to have that, coming out with that kind of force and then that kind of gunpowder, they just kind of wrecked Dawn in that respect. And like you said, though, Breaky, they just simply outplayed them. Both teams had kind of a similar strategy, and clearly Rexos just played it better.
Yeah, we were talking about it, the draft initially. Even they banned Kraken, they left Swiftblade open. It was snap picked by Dawn. It's like, is that going to backfire? Is that going to be? They left Keeper of the Forest open. We even talked about that, and Dawn eventually got it. Yet Rexars had a game plan. They made it work, and all the credit to them on taking a 2-0 victory here. Because even the game one obviously was very impressive in their favor. So that's got to be quite the roller coaster for Dawn, though, especially going from a high of advancing into Diamond to even a higher of finishing third place to then the next cycle dropping down back-to-back series to go back to gold. I mean, that's quite the ride. But I know we keep saying this, but there's just more evidence that keeps piling up that it's just anything can happen from cycle to cycle, especially in these initial rounds. And we saw that here once again. I mean, this first weekend has been the craziest first weekend so far in Cycle 5, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. Especially when you had the Shrek beating BMG yesterday in the first round.
But, yeah, I mean, it just goes back to, obviously, the great competition in Diamond Division at the moment. Like, there is no free game in Diamond Division. Every single game you have to fight for. Because otherwise, things like this can happen, so...
That they can. All right, let's see. Okay, let's actually, I might as well obviously jump into the other series here. I have to use a restroom real quickly. So I'm going to jump into the game here real quickly. I got to change the overlay as well. But stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. I'm going to go on a very short break right here. I'll make it quick. We'll be right back, though. We're going to have BMG versus Night Raid. It looks like they're in Game 2. BMG is currently up 1-0 at this point. So I just hopped in. I want to put on an auto cam right here. You can actually do some commentary if you want.
I'll do my own commentary. And
I'll let you know when I'm back. 1 second here. Let me just finish updating this. All right. Overlay should be good to go in a second. Booyah. Right. Okay.
We got
in-game.
Legionnaire
nice.
Gemini.
All right. I'll be right back.
It's fine, man. So, yeah, we've got Legionnaire. It actually has gone... So, you see... I don't know what you guys are sort of seeing in terms of the camera work. But, we've got Legionnaire here for... This is Night Raid, so we've got Legionnaire and Gemini on the side of Night Raid, actually. And interesting, no, actually, Legionnaire has actually picked up the Helmbite Legion. When we saw Zinc play... someone, can't remember who Zinc were playing, but Zinc were playing someone. Actually, Slapped picked up the portal key first with the Ghost Marchers and bottle build. So a little bit of a different sort of change it actually in the middle lane. Bowles might be dropping if he can get. No, he can't get the shell off, so he's going to drop actually to the Pebbles portal key. So an early portal key onto Misery actually. He's got 400 GPM. Only 14 minutes in. It's going to actually result into a tier 1 tower as well. So, and actually they've got Swiftblade as well. So quite a strong draft come out from Night Raid. I'm kind of surprised how that got through into the draft, but. BMG got some strong news on themselves with Kraken and Tempest as well, and the usual Draconis actually, we've seen this twice now come out from BMG. Draconis on the Hackstrin, and it does seem like Breaky's back. Breaky, are you back?
I am back. And,
he's back.
Re-energized here, yeah, good to go. Whew, promise to make it quick. Alright, so yeah, this is, I don't know what you were saying, because I wasn't listening, but... Obviously, I'm sure you did a great job right there recapping. The first thing that stands out to me, though, I don't know if you pointed out, but Draconis again for BMG. I mean,
yeah,
they clearly want to make this work. And we saw that yesterday. Obviously, it didn't against Strikers 11 that third game, but
Legionnaire as well.
Yeah, and then the Legionnaire obviously a Night Raid. Now, usually we would see that play by Cookies, but of course he isn't here today. He's one of the two ringers, Nami Swan, actually, in his play. So don't know who that is. Never heard of him. Just like in the 6, but. That's what we were talking about earlier. It's just crazy stuff there. So yeah, this game 1 did go pretty easily in favor of BMG
Pebbles.
from my understanding. Pebbles is going to get caught here. And yeah, eventually falls. But game 2 seems like it's actually much different so far. I mean, still earlier on, but Night Raid actually is doing some good things here. Pebbles actually up there in the gold per minute chart. And hell, wow, there's a lot of heroes. 4 of the 5 heroes are over 300 gold per minute. For Night Raid. In fact, they're going to find a catcher on a Kraken. Nice protective melody, though, from Rhapsody. Also, you see that release to Kraken slowing them down. That will help keep him alive. And now Legionnaire in a bad spot. He's got the helmet of Black Legion, but it doesn't matter. He goes down. Draconis assisting, getting the kill even. Good response. Great use of the cooldowns right there coming out from BMG.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of interesting, though, because normally, I think, who was Zinc playing when Zinc picked up Legionnaire? I can't remember who it was.
Was that yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, so then the second round.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
That was Millstone Gaming. That's right. I believe it was. Wait, was it? Anyways, yeah, holy crap, there's a lot of action in lane. You got me distracted, damn it. Kelfield coming out. You see Kraken is going to fall. Wow, though, the Legion team ultimately going down. Cataclysmic Assault. No doubt doing plenty right there from Draconis. And trying to finish off Glacius, but not going to be able to do so. Pebbles off to the side. He's going back in on a Bubbles. Bubbles ran into the trap. He goes down. TP in. Tempest puts the stun. He actually gets a tower kill. Legionnaire can't chase him down as a result. And that'll be that. So, yeah, very hectic fight right there. A lot of back and forth, but I think BMG perhaps coming out on top of that one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with the Legionnaire, though, like, it's actually a lot different in terms of the build compared to actually Zaps when he played the Legionnaire. Legionnaire from Zaps, I think he picked up like Bottle first, then went into the Ghost March, then straight for the Portal Key, whereas this is actually... Yeah, so then Nomex one's gone here with the Helmblack Legion, so a lot of slower build-up, and that's why we see the Portal Key quite slow, but and it just goes back, like, if you compare the game with, Slaps getting the early Portal Key, he had such a big impact. Like, I think he had like 6 or 7 kills before like the 10-minute mark or something ridiculous like that. And like with the Legionnaire at the moment, it's 1-1 and 0, and it's only 17 minutes in, he hasn't even got the Portal Key either, so yeah, just really... doesn't really have the impact compared to some of the other Legionnaires we've seen, and you compare that to like Tempest at the moment, 3-0-3, 410 GPM, and it's not the same, honestly, and that's why we don't see Legionnaires picked up too often. But
Rhapsody, yeah, got picked off right there, but it coming to the Cosmos likely. Misery doing what he can. You can jive a little bit. He has support coming in from Gemini, actually. Can he get there in time? There's a Chuck. He said, get off me, bro. Gemini, beautiful follow-up stun. Bubbles actually taking the front to that. He will go to take cover. The split up form from Gemini, though. Bubbles, one auto attack. He can't finish him off, though. And Bubbles ultimately survives. And, whoa, Pebbles actually lived? Are you kidding me? Wow. I thought for sure he was dead, actually, with the chase. He actually gets away. So, really, nobody dying there. Well, other than Rhapsody initially. So, that was very well played by Night Raid. They coming on top of that that exchange right there. But, I was actually going to go back to, you mentioned the Legionnaire. And again, this is where I think, though, you can honestly kind of put into consideration that tournament play, competitive play, compared to TMM, pub style. What Legionnaire did here, this is more the usual you'd probably expect. The helm into the portal key. But Slash, as you mentioned, getting the bottle, the Ghost Marchers, not maybe what you would usually expect on the TMM scene, but, because of, playing with the team, the communication you can guarantee is going to be there, I think is the biggest difference maker for that build, if anything. Rhapsody gets caught, by the way. He popped an invis, but the taunt made him come out. And is he actually going to live, though? No! The poor man, I love it. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
But no, you are right about that Legionnaire. Though, like, because in competitive play, like, you can't have heroes that have no impact in the early game because you're just gonna get run over by the early sort of strategies that we see a lot now in terms of the meta. And although Helmet Legion is quite standard, it's just not probably the best way to go into a competitive scene.
Chuck dunk, I know, right? That was some alley-oop combo coming out right there between Pebbles and Legionnaire. So I will say, yeah, this lineup though, it is kind of a funky lineup though, isn't it? I mean, they got a lot of right-click carry presence with both Gemini and Swiftblade. A lot of physical. You throw Legionnaire in there, of course, as well. But then they kind of got the Murderous Moffits and what's going to be Glacius and Pebbles kind of going around setting up ganks, and it's just an interesting draft to me. I don't know. It just feels
it works though because if it does go into the late game, the only one that can really contest him is probably going to be Draconis and Tempest, and obviously Legionnaire can actually cancel Tempest Ultimate, even though if he gets a Shrunken Head, if he makes the taunt perfect positioning, because not a lot of people know, but obviously you have a radius on the taunt, but whenever Tempest Ultimates, you almost have a little bit of the radius on top of yourself, but if Legionnaire can find the perfect position, he can actually taunt Tempest out of the ultimate, and obviously stop the ultimate in that respect, but the positioning has to be absolutely perfect, otherwise he'll be pulled into the ultimate himself. But yeah, they've got some good late games with Gemini and Swiftblade, so unless BMG can really take kind of a big advantage with this sort of team fight they've got, they might be in trouble, the later this goes on.
Definitely, Ancients being cleared out here by Gemini, but yeah, exactly, yeah. Draconis, it's so hard to say though, at least in my opinion, because at the same time, yeah, Draconis with the synergy. I mean, when Draconis was a thing, once again, I'm sure he got some nerfs and that changed everything, but his potential is ridiculous. How fast he attacks with the Cataclysmic Assault. I mean, he's gonna have level 3 of it very shortly. So that's the usual kind of timing in that sense. He has a Nullsun already, and of course going to be building up into the Shrunken Head, probably, if that's what, if he goes more the routine from the past.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Ain't a whole lot of play coming out from these guys as it goes. But anyways, okay, that makes a little more sense. Bottom lane though, Kraken, okay, he gets picked off actually. Double damage Pebbles in the way, and they're going to be pushing out this bottom. Nightmare, it seems like they're in a very good spot here at this point. But that's where it goes to. If BMG can land a Wombo combo, then that could definitely change everything. And they have the potential to do it. So really, that's where it's going to be as far as this game is concerned. But, I mean, what do you think for Draconis? You think, first off, he needs to get the Shrunken Head next?
If you go Shrunken Head, though, like, there's so many ways they can deal with him. Obviously, they've got the Swiftblade, Swift Flashes, and obviously the Legionnaire Taunt. So, I honestly don't think he can really afford to go Shrunken Head. Like, they're sort of missing a little bit of damage because there's quite a lot of tanky presence, particularly now that Shrunken Head's picked up on Pebbles. I think Geometer's Bane is kind of the way to go, but at the same time, if he does go Shrunken Head, he's going to get absolutely obliterated from Pebbles. So, he's kind of caught in a rock and a hard place because if he goes Shrunken Head, then there's ways to deal with it, and if he doesn't go Shrunken Head, then he's going to get sort of obliterated from Glacius and Pebbles. So, yeah, like, I mean, I can see it going either way, but just because it's so common, I think we still are going to see a Shrunken Head.
Yeah. And get Haxor to kind of that old school player, too, of especially when he was really, playing for complexity and whatnot. When Draconis was the thing, that just was the idea build. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that definitely. Yeah. Coming out here, Swiftblade getting caught meanwhile at the top lane. Good chase from BMG, and ultimately securing the kill. So well played again. Present 25 playing Swiftblade, and I believe he definitely was playing more of a suicide Swiftblade here. So I mean, you look at it from that perspective, I mean, he's actually had a pretty good game overall, but getting picked off there. He's seen a lot of action also. 6-5 and 2 already. At 22.5 minutes in, but the top lane will continue to be pushed in. BMG doing so. You see the tower just about dead. No, falling back before actually. Going to wait for the creep wave. Not gonna go. Interesting. They actually, okay, yeah, because they found Pebbles. They found a treat over here. Bubble's gonna follow it up. Shrunken Head is popped though, and they run right into Legionnaire. Pebbles combo comes out. Taps on it though. It's gonna stop it, and this should be big. 4 Bad Monkey gaming right here. Pebbles and Legionnaire in a lot of trouble. He gets the stun off though. Legionnaire somehow still alive, as well as Pebbles. Finally goes into Legion, but Pebbles will live. Pebbles actually survived that again. Misery knows how to escape, man. Well played right there. I gotta think that's overall actually pretty good for that raid. Because meanwhile, Gemini's pushing bottom, they got a cooldown to be used.
Yeah, and they used a big Timber's Ultimate. Like, if Legionnaire gets comes alive and they want to start pushing, I think that'd be a good trade, honestly, because like you said, Gemini, the later this goes, I think it's pretty better for Night Raid, but also obviously they use the Tempest ultimate and they might be able to take even a tier 2 mid if they want to push as soon as Legionnaire is up.
This is something, man. This really is something. You know, we talked about how we chose to cover the Dawn Rexer series. I'm very glad we did, definitely in the end. Over this one, mainly because Night Raid not using their full roster. They got a couple of ringers in, going up against a hungry BMG team who's somehow in the losers bracket. So, you know, on paper you would think to yourself, okay, going to be a easy victory, but not so much as Night Raid. I mean, sure, they're down 1-0, but they are competing here heavily in game 2. What just happened right there? Shrunken was popping because he thought a lot more was going to be taking place. Pebbles goes into the background. His team follow-up isn't the prettiest, though, as expected, perhaps. There goes Gemini. The initiation back and forth right here. Protectability in the back of Legionnaire. He decapitates Rhapsody. They also no more protectability for you, he says. But Swiftblade goes down in the process. It is just a crazy fight, man. Somehow it's still going. Gemini's going to end up falling, and Tempest now in the background chasing. But Pebbles with his combo. He needs more auto tech and gets it off, but at one cost here. The release crack and pull in. Down goes Glacius. Pebbles most likely going to actually fall this time. Yes, he will. And Legionnaire ends up being the only survivor in the end. Maybe not the only survivor, because he will die, and a genocide for BMG. Hat-trick for Haxer, and that fight was funky, man.
Yeah, it was so weird, like so many missed sort of spells and them going back and forth, but the BMG team fight is still definitely there. Yes, Night Raid have the late game, but still, like, you've got Kraken and Tempest and obviously the Rhapsody playing a massive factor in the game, and they just don't have the farm to really be impactful in terms of the team fights just yet. Yes, they've got you know strong late game carries with Gemini and Swiftblade, but they're just not the farm they need to be before they can really have the impact in the game. And like you saw, Pebbles, like he got us away with like a sliver of HP, then he comes back and just dies again. So BMG, I mean, they're honestly looking a little bit shaky, but after that team fight, clearly in the lead right now.
Yeah. Gemini, yeah, the shrunken head, and so now this is, once he gets the damage at him, that's where you're absolutely scared. He's kind of that Moon Queen effect. Once a Moon Queen just really gets, you know, your 3 items, the Shrunken Head, the Whispering Helm perhaps, and Geometer's Bane, then it's like, okay, now we're really scared. And the Draconis is definitely that same kind of hero with that Cataclysmic Assault of his. So he's getting very, very close to what I think, again, is probably going to be a Savage Mace here at this point with the way he's saving up gold especially. So... Super KG is like, well, thank you for that. Nice vision coming out there. Swiftblade, he needs to be careful. Speaking of that, actually. Uh-oh. Is he in trouble? Or Kraken's the only one here so far. You got Draconis also coming in. There's the charge. Release the Kraken. Tempest also assisting. And Present 25. Yep. You are dead. As Hackstring comes in to clean him up. So it seems like BMG is really trying to get in a groove now. And that's not good for Night Raid.
Yeah, I mean, Night Raid, they need to sort of obviously slow down the game as much as possible, try and get a few ganks, and they definitely can, particularly with, like, they've got 2 of the strongest initiators with Pebbles and Legionnaire. They should be finding kill after kill on, like, the Pebbles, on like, the Bubbles, the Rhapsody, and the Tempest, because they can definitely do it. They have so much burst potential, but, you know, it's actually the enemy team that are setting up the ganks, and it honestly just shouldn't happen. And because they've got obviously kind of like a tri-core with like Legionnaire, Gemini, and Swiftblade, so they have the late game, but just need to get there in the first place.
Wow, Legionnaire, he could have just straight up decapitated Bubbles right there, but Bubbles, Zibby doing his thing. Portal Keys, a very good reaction coming out from him, and actually does escape Legionnaire's kill. And actually, this Ward of Sight's pretty much what did it for him. Yeah, if that Ward of Sight wasn't there, then he would have very likely been killed, so it gave him the presence of mind to react right there. So well played. And staying alive, but yeah, that Draconis, it's kind of the timer countdown before he gets that third and very beautiful item for his team. I will say, though, yeah, you got some good things, though, coming out here for the Legion side. It's not like it's all BMG by any means. You got the Shrunken Head and works here for Gemini on top of the Geometer's Bane. Again, it's kind of one of those funky items with him because it almost does force him to stay in the full form rather than splitting up, but at the same time, his full form is very powerful. Swiftblade trying to finish a Firebrand, at least get more of a suicide Swiftblade, so understandably he's not as high as a short lane farming carry Swiftblade, but in the meantime, the middle lane, Pebbles, he gets gone up, but he counter-initiates, and Tempest going to feel a lot of the brunt of this with Slash, but a beautiful protectability. The Tempest ultimate, it does get canceled immediately. Tempest actually in trouble, and no, he's going to survive. Release Kraken, the whole team support comes in, Haxman doing his work with that Cataclysmic Assault, and look at the Legion team melt away. right there. Legionnaire, he also gets picked off. Glacius will barely survive. Wow, though. I mean, the team fight is just so strong right now for BMG.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I did like the idea of obviously Pebbles and Legionnaire trying to set up ganks, but at the same time, everyone of BMG were off the map, and they were kind of ganking in kind of a high sort of footpath area, obviously in the middle lane, and there's Ancients in the Congo and offside top lane as well.
Yeah, Gemini's being chased down. He will twin figs away in the meantime, but the Storm Spirit comes out, slowing him down. Does he have anything more? Yep, the Energizer popped. And actually, that could be the... Nope, Gemini going to cut him off. Oh, he missed the Dragon Breath. He missed it. It doesn't matter, though. That was funny, though. But anyways, he still got the kill. Super KG gets credit for it. That torn of his. So, yeah, again, as interesting as it was seeing as we jumped into this game, Night Raid actually was looking pretty good, especially with their makeup and how things are going. But once BMG started to get into the groove, the team fight started taking place more and more. The support, and you can tell that they're in a very good spot now. I mean, 21 to 19 hero kills, very even in that sense, but of course that's just one of many stats that we always talk about. 10,000 gold lead, 16,000 experience lead now, and Draconis, most importantly, has that Savage Mace, and here comes a Congo attempt. BMG's favorite.
Yeah. And, I mean, definitely Night Raid cannot contest this, actually. And yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I think Night Raid just almost missed their timing a little bit. Like, they needed to delay the game about 10, maybe even 15 minutes, but BMG sort of just made sure that, their presence in some of the team fights was just definitely noted, and they made those team fights happen. And Night Raid, they just seemed that they couldn't really delay the game as much as possible. They had the opportunity to try and make a few ganks happen, but maybe it got a little bit too aggressive and then ended up being a team fight. And now, obviously, Token on Draconis, like, he's 10-1-7 and he's farming so well as well. Like, another probably going to be Geomet's Blade next, and they're going to take the rest of these outer towers now as well. Going to start with the 2 on bottom.
He's actually, Draconis is getting the lifesteal here, and yeah, going to be going the Whispering up. And I believe from what I recall too, this is kind of the normal thing as well. You get that Savage Mace with his brunt damage, but now you start getting the attack modifier, in this case the lifesteal, of course. And it just, especially if you eventually get the Similar Rage, I mean, it's like, why even try at that point? He'll take out your whole team by himself at that point. So, top lane, there goes the top tower. So, I keep wanting to say Absolute Legends, but Night Raid here. They push that in at least, and gonna keep going. So yeah, he did go the Ice Brand instead of the Shrunken Head, so not as awkward perhaps, but still. Used more farm to make use of that effectively. Eventually the Prosper into the Dawnbringer perhaps. Actually, well yeah, I guess it's like a Frozen Light here. Anyways, tower exchanging going on. DMG is already at the base though, so if you're Night Raid, you probably should think about getting back if they're not already. There goes the vulnerability. They're going. Never mind. This is Skrill. Let's make the base race, but look at BMG. They react. Swift Slash is coming out though. Runs to Blade. Here goes the Cataclysmic Assault. The right clicks are real. The Tempest ultimate to hold down Swiftblade. He eventually falls in a bloodbath streak. 4 Hackshot as a result. He gets a double tap there. Glacius is also going to fall in the end. Make it a hat trick, because why not?
Man, like, jeez. And actually, okay, so support does die in the middle lane, but still not the biggest of deals. I think BMG can just rotate to the middle lane, take their racks, and just look at that gold lead and experienced lead. Like, the team fights has just been all in favour of BMG. And it's just kind of crazy. Like, 10 minutes ago, like, Night Raid were kind of ahead, I think, but a couple of bad team fights here and there, and that's what happens, obviously, with BMG just really capitalising on the mistakes of Night Raid here.
Yeah. 614 goal per minute Draconis, so maybe it didn't work too well yesterday, but Haxray really showing that he knew this hero could work, and we're seeing the power of it once again here, of why he used to be a very powerful carry hero presence and could possibly be making a comeback. But melee racks goes down, yeah, as you would expect. Pebbles is like, I want to get something out of this. That was a risky move, though, and that could backfire if he's not careful right here. He's just really playing the distractor, of course, kind of tempting fate. He has a haster in, though, and that's a big difference maker there for keeping him alive. In the meantime, here comes Legionnaire. But Draconis is like, I don't care. I press R, and you guys just all die. That's how the hero works at this point. So yeah, he's going to be standing his ground. He even has a Shrunken Head that he's not going to use because he's got the token. And he's just chasing it down. So I'm pretty sure Night Raid's kind of just in that mode of overtime here. Of desperation, doing anything they can to hold them off from actually finishing this game. But it's going to prove to be too much. BMG will stay alive in Diamond. That's the big thing to take of this. Because yes, this was a loser's bracket round 1 matchup. BMG had to win it to stay alive. So that means on the other side, it's no immortal for actually. Night Raid will be going to gold next cycle.
That is true. I mean, to be fair, like, although the stats at the end was clearly in favour of BMG, like 10 minutes ago, we jumped in when Night Raider were ahead, but a couple of team fights that were kind of bad sort of decisions from Night Raider, such to take a team fight against the sort of strategy from BMG, ended up giving the snowball effect. And even though it was sort of later than expected, Action just carried on that Draconis so much, but it was quite cool, that mechanic actually. So he popped the Cataclysm inside, so even though he's taunted Legionnaire, he's still hitting other heroes, which is quite cool to see actually. Didn't even matter that Legionnaire was forcing him to sort of fight him or attack him. It's
again, when Draconis is out farmed, that's what he does. Presses R, wins games, and I know I make it seem so simple, but it is kind of fun seeing that come back. But at the same time, it is quite simple, exactly. So BMG, again, staying alive. They win the series 2-0. That's got to be a good feeling for them, especially knowing how close they were to possibly being dropped down. But they get the victory. So they're going to move on, and they're going to be playing Nullstone Gaming next. I'm actually updating the brackets right here to show you guys on stream as well. But definitely some very good follow-up matches coming at you here in the losers bracket round 2, as you would expect. And those are set to start in about 20 to 30 minutes from now. So pretty good leading right here. We'll have a little bit of a break, but there you go. See it on your screen. Those are the brackets, how they're shaping up here. Nullstone versus BMG, as we talked about. Shrek is Love versus Rexars will be the other one. I mean, it's maybe a little surprising to see. How about that? Both the gold teams actually matching up